Okay, so we're gonna hold this close to my face. It's gonna go dead any moment. Probably my headset's at least. God. Um, I want to get through this, and I don't feel like waiting until later. So I hope that you can hear me. Okay. Thank you to whomever it was who was watching yesterday and continues to be a part of my growing community, which is where we kind of need to start this and the false equivalency and what comes out of my mouth and what you hear from the next. We're going to start off here with the soft white underbelly, as this is YouTube. Um, and I'm going to say shout out to church because before you got involved in this, um, you were you, is what I'm going to say. Bef- Okay, here's how this goes, right? Soft white underbelly appears, and then one of the women from the show goes missing. I believe another is murdered, and they're attempting to make connections. Okay, these are homeless people, prostitutes, pimps, and whatever. What the society used to call derelicts. Okay, and this was becoming content on YouTube. And while I took offense to it, these were people who were willing to do it, and I believe that they were getting assistance afterwards and off the street. So I watched for a while. I say Sharp. Sharp eventually ends up on Adam 22, No Jumper, and then he becomes his own entity, so to speak, because he leaves. I believe that he leaves because he recognizes other things behind the scenes. Once he gets to arguing with the Instagram pimp, he's kind of done it. And that's it. I think both headphones died. Give me a second. They were really in for me, though, and since I. Let's do this. Okay. They're in for sensitivity, which reminds me, let me go ahead and do this too. Overstimulation is real. Libraries, hospitals, some of these places are super doggone bright. I can understand why. It's just he's tinky beat. Okay? All right, getting back to it. Because we're going to talk about books. So, these people wrote books. Not Sharp, not Adam 22. However, Dr. Kiyosaki Johnson and Dr. Jordan Peterson out of Canada did. So now let's get back to it. Um, what happens is Sharp's episode appears. And not a whole lot happens. In the interim, though, 2020, the world shuts down, right? And everybody comes online with whatever their business was. It doesn't matter, legal or illegal business. They brought it online and they used social media, which is a free tool, or at least to use to create your business ads and so on and so forth. And so what they did was rather than buying up ad space, they took up live stream space. And they would live stream for hours. And they would basically have different versions of people up there so that you could see the variety of human being you might be able to traffic. And then they began to traffic. Now, I'm not saying that Red Supreme or Sinful the P were involved in these things. What I'm saying is they were also live streaming at the time. Central to P, for whatever reason, was no longer in the country and he was live streaming from Canada. And often than not on screen. So, dear Canada, America is calling. You're going to let us know whether the man is dead or alive. And you're going to let us know whether or not you've investigated the case. And if you haven't, we're going to come and swing your way. We don't give a fuck about the mountains. You see? Okay. Jordan Peterson did not want to capitulate to the transgender community and deal with their mental illness in his classroom. And I am in agreement with him on that. You are your name as far as I am concerned. Your grade is your grade. And if you did not achieve your grade Telling me that I don't identify with you is not going to save you from not identifying with the information that is provided in the content that I am providing. That's a you problem, not a trans problem. Okay? So this has started to irritate me. Let me take this out. Jordan Peterson now has had a whole bunch of family issues in the meantime, cancer, so on and so forth. So it would be difficult for me to believe that the man would even have the energy to continue to come for me. However, Dr. Tiasan Johnson's work out of California is very similar to Dr. Peterson's work and mine. Dr. Peterson, however, likes to vilify Black women, where Peterson, or Johnson vilifies Black women, forgive me, Peterson vilifies trans people, period. I mean, personally, I don't give a damn about the trans ass. What I do care about is you coming across boundaries and co-opting information that ain't got nothing to do with you. You are not a woman. Sit your ass down. I do not care if you go on to have surgery and build you a vagina. You are not a woman. You're a boy, Damien. Terry Crews, I'm talking to you. Co-opting the Me Too movement for masculinity didn't really work out, now did it? Because there's still not a lot of men who are willing to admit what they went through, at least not by way of you. No one was really interested in the Me Too movement either. What it was an attempt to co-opt again a statement that I made. I was hiding in plain sight from my abuser. And then Big Nose said, Me too. And then the women in the manosphere grew, and the manosphere grew. In California, and Me Too became damn near synonymous along with New York by way of Harvey Weinstein before Epstein, then Kevin Spacey and Epstein and his murder. See, and the murder of my cousin and me and Young Dog. Industry people who can otherwise recognize the crimes inside of the manosphere from all sides. The woman that you're looking for is named Princella. She wrote the 48, whatever it is, 48 shades of masculinity or some shit like that. She's a manosphere acolyte and decided to come against me with the assistance of Darrell Long and B. Simone. Oh, Auntie Robbie, Peace Love, L. Nixon, and there's another goofy chick whose name I always forget, but she had the nonprofit that they needed. Uh, Angels something, Angels of Hope, whatever was the nonprofit. But anyway, behind the scenes, she was losing everything, and she kept calling me and telling me that her ex-deceased husband had been involved in some things that they were coming after her for. And so then she got into bed, literally and figuratively, with Darrell Long, and that came out behind the scenes after he had already supposedly been in bed with Lucky Marie. Supposedly behind the scenes, they have a marriage certificate, supposedly behind the scenes, that she went and got out of Texas, not him, because he was in Detroit. He was supposed to come down and get married to her. See, things went left. His children were almost taken from him. His family wasn't going to give him any assistance. And I said, well, I can take your daughter in, but you can't stay here. I have a man who won't accept you. And then the man that I was with began to abuse me. Wonder why that might be. See, it's amazing what people will do for money. So you're going back over there to the original JP, the Aspiring Matriarch channel, and you look for the video that says, Dear California, whatever it is, California cannon fodder, I believe. I bet you see me now, don't you, Kamala? How about you, Jasmine, Beyonce, Gavin, Newsom? Hey, you know, I knew a Newsom when I lived in Germany. I also know another guy who looks like a guy who's in music today. You know how many former military personnel are in the United States industry after being overseas, where I was in the music scene at 18? It's going to be hard for you to continue to pretend to be me, um, JP from the Black House. You see the connections now? Wonder if you could find them in the chats of the lead attorney, Red Supreme. Uh, what is his name? Trying not to be seen right now. Dr. Tiasan Johnson, the Green Gorilla. There's a few others out there. Whether they're still practicing today by way of content creation or not, they're still criminally liable. There you go. This is not simply a civil intellectual property case. It's a murder for hire case involving the murder of my cousin, Demaria Persons, witness tampering by way of attempting to kill me. See, welcome to the party, ladies and gentlemen. I thought I caught you up to date a little bit, at least on the names you need to get to know. Things you haven't been paying attention to you because you are white and you don't pay attention to black people because you don't give a shit. And that is affecting the government. You want to be interested, and black people don't give a shit. I'm being nice and helping you get some information so you can get your ass in alignment so that when your papers give you an assignment to come out here and report on this shit, you might be able to get somebody to talk to you. There are no guarantees, honey. Because, well, I got this and I can produce it for free. And I'm well within my right to do so. Not only am I young, gifted, black, I am free, psychic, clairsentient, and able to handle that ass in a minute. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm fatigued. You've been playing games with them for so long, you've forgotten that money makes the world go round. So if you want anything about me, TMZ, anybody else, a nominal fee, you might want to start with 10 times what you paid that motherfucker for anything to deal with Michael Jackson, Princess Diana, Prince. I want you to know how proud I am about my shit. Now you get it. You ain't got to come up off it. Cause some of you going to prison, you know, recording these people in their worst moments and then turning them out for content is a violation of their rights because you didn't tell them that you were going to make money out of them. You told them that you were going to interview them, that it might end up on the internet or YouTube. You didn't say you were going to whore them out like this. Sorry, Sharp. This is indeed how you turn a pimp into a whore. The internet did it. I just said it would. And since they wanted to make a whore out of me, a queen, I'm gonna have to make a whore out of all of thee. See, you shield content for money. Yet, what are you offering besides stories that do what? I mean, in the end, can you tell someone how to come up out of it? Have you been truly successful or without the internet money or anything else? What would your next hustle be? Told you this was a tool for businesses. So even if you were looking up like DIY content, it's because someone turned it into a business. YouTube turned your DIY content into a business. And then they turned your live streaming into a business by way of paying you a 70-30 split. Aren't they generous? They took 30% of your money for all of your time, your energy, and what you got to show for it, baby. And on top of that, you had to capitulate to get into the partners program. So you couldn't do things like enjoy certain things on camera. If you did, those things were only partially paid for, if at all. Now, how much of a big boy or girl are you when someone else controls you for money? I do believe that is technology. You're welcome. The game was meant to be told, it was never meant to be sold. So we can talk about church now, if you like. Church. Pimps and prostitutes believe in church, in God, the creator of all things. So why would they be left out in the end? Even Jesus had iniquities. See, he had to come up out of his own level of sin. See, that's what we forget. There's level to everything. So if you are God's child and you are anointed with the gift to do anything, and you come down here and you hang out with the blaspheme team, are you not in danger of losing your anointing? So even though you may be promised a heavenly afterlife, may you not have to spend some time in hell and or purgatory. See, the believers would tell you, you never know when you're entertaining an angel. What makes you think that angels haven't been to hell? And that a few of them may not reside there. You know, they look alike the people, except they're comfortable in it. And you think they're demons. That's because many of them hold dual roles or more. You never read your Bible. Your Bible says that there are those whose job it is simply to sing to the creator of all things. There are others whose job is to make sure his chair gets from here to there. So on and so forth. You see? There are the Nephilim. Those are the children of the fallen angels and the earth women, so to speak. Earth girls are easy. That's a sci-fi movie where aliens, angels, come down from outer space, the heavens, and lie with human women and create hybrid beings known as Nephilim. They are taller than the average human being. They don't have wings, though they do have the ability to fly high, so to speak. They were supposed to be wiped out with the floods, remember? The giants, Goliath. Let's say they didn't all die. Yet Enoch promised them that in the end times, all of them would indeed die. And a death worse than the floods. See, Enoch lived for 365 years approximately before being taken up to heaven. Enoch was taken up to heaven in the flesh. Now I want you to witness what I just witnessed. Enoch went to heaven in the flesh. Jesus went to heaven in the spirit. Who was God's anointed? Enoch, rather than Jesus, so to speak. Jesus is a direct descendant of Enoch. Who did God walk the planet with? Enoch. Who did God break bread with? Enoch. Who did God sacrifice? His only begotten son. God came down here to lay with woman, made Jesus, and sacrificed him along with the Nephilim so that you would have one chance to come up out of it. Now I returned and I have no interest in being your martyr for another half century. So it's time for you to determine what you're going to be out here. Cannon fodder, Satan's daughters, demon rats, reptilians. You've never seen the show V miniseries movie? None of it? They're walking among us. See? Happen throughout our lived history. What makes you believe that there was a queen before Elizabeth II? Because they told you? Because they had documentation. Doesn't Elizabeth II's family have a direct connection to Jeffrey Epstein? Espionage? Mossad? You see? Well, who are the true Hebrews that they were speaking about biblically? It can't be the Jew because, well, they denied the book of Enoch's existence along with the Christian by way of the Council of Nicaea. They kept it hidden. They offered you a Bible with a certain number of books depending on how you look. The slave Bible has the least number of books in it, the most number of references to lords and abuse. Why might that be? If not to indoctrinate people into the idea of their subjugation and eventual enslavement being what God intended. You see? That's why you have people like Tariq Nasheed saying that he's a foundational Black American, not an indigenous American person you call Black. That's why you have the American descendants of slaves, which, if they don't include, say, the indentured servitude or the Irish, well, then they're not really talking about all Americans, are they? You see, when I say I'm an indigenous American Black person, that's because I am indigenous to the land. I was born under the flag as an American citizen. And because you all wanted to delineate between indigenous people then and today, you call me Black. Because I wouldn't go to Canada on the Trail of Tears along with many of our indigenous peers. I come from that group that fought you. I didn't bend the knee and go to a PWI after I ran for the military. I went to schools that I could make use of their tools and turn it into weapons against those who would come against me and mine by way of your authority under a flag, which, while I salute it, does not have authority over my sovereign indigenous rights. Period. I didn't agree to your treaty. I didn't ratify your constitution, nor did any of my people. So your little first world only exists in theory, much like the Manosphere. Truth of the matter is, without the people buying into the bullshit of the fucking Constitution and the government, there ain't shit you can do. We don't have to overrun you. We can just sit you out and look at you play stupid games and win stupid prizes. Because we ain't going, as you can see. Now y'all go ahead and analyze this. I'm going to eat me some lunch.